All right, we are getting private game set up. Getting moving. We are in our group stage for Java, so we're playing 3 games today no matter what. If you hear my last one, won't do that again, pinky promise. Teams today, we have 2 Java teams. We have the Klabs are gonna be our orange team. If you are not aware, that is our team that won our first tournament we ever did, our Egg Wars one. Second team is Krokante Mannen, which I believe they were also in that tournament. They played in our Egg Wars tournament as well. I want to say they lost to Crisis in that tournament, Crisis being the team that got second. And Klabs and Crisis couldn't really play a proper game, so both of those teams are very, very good. So we have the winner of our last tournament and then a team that lost to the second place in our last tournament. Gonna be on my pause screen for a minute here because we have to let this private game start and then leave and then join back. It's kind of a whole thing, but we are on Bedwars. First game we're going to be playing, first map is going to be Palace. Palace being a map with not too crazy stuff going on. If you know the Palace Egg Wars map, it's not as filled up as the Palace map in Egg Wars, as I wouldn't say, but looks like we have a little someone in our game here asked for a couple minutes, so I might be on my pause screen for a couple more minutes. Move as quick as we can though. So why are we doing 3 Javas in a row with no Bedrock? Well, we go based on when the teams schedule. Like there's a Discord channel with both teams in the chat and they decide when they can play within the time span we give them. So it just happened to be that there were 3 Java games in a row. I will say more often than not you'll have Bedrock games because the Bedrock tournament is significantly bigger because obviously the Bedrock server gets like, 10x the player count. But you will have things like this. I think it's fun. I like Java. If you're a Bedrock player, I think you should tune in here, check out Java, because Java is very different. And these are, like I said, this was our Egg Wars tournament winner. These are some of the best Java players in the business. Still just hanging out, getting our private game started up here. We are all in the lobby, just waiting. Got the ready from both captains, so we should be starting our game any minute now. Again, we're going to have our last tournament winners to Klabs on Team Orange, and then Krokante Mannen on Team Blue. I think it's a light blue, technically, but I didn't bother making my thing up there right that blue, so it's just regular blue. Game has started. Because of our weird private game command, it's going to take a minute to actually get in. I'm going to have to wait and then join back up. All right. In our game now, we see we have Krokante Mannen and we have blue over on mid. No one in mid yet from the side of Klabs. They are building diagonal to diamonds over here. Not going to be able to pronounce names very well because these are all Dutch players. I don't speak any Dutch, but I'll try my best. Our first little fight's going to go down. Mark over here is very, very outgeared. Just going to try to run away. Do a little block trap there. That's what you see. Have an immediate push in from Klabs here. Not sure if it's going to pan out or if they're going to decide to back up. I don't know what kind of bed breaking tools we have right immediately into the game. I doubt we're going to have, both pickaxes and axes, at least because you see we have kind of a classic terracotta and wood defense there. Trey-san goes down. I don't know how to say anyone's name here. Ume. I don't know. Someone's got to tell me. Someone's got to tell me to pronounce those names. But defense, very solid. I would say early advantage is with Team Blue with Krokante Mannen because we have had a lot more mid control. You see, they actually did get back with diamonds earlier, and they're controlling mid again. Even the diamond gen that's right by the base of the Klabs right now. This big old staircase going to mid gonna make it a little harder to get, to their base, but also a little harder to get away from it. Taking fall damage whenever we come in. Trason comes in, immediately gets taken back out. Our Egg Wars champions may notice that Bedwars plays a little differently, but at the end of the day, it's build and break a bed PvP, right? Should see a lot of similarities. Fireballs and Egg Wars, at least not in the past, so it'll be a little different. Gonna drop down. Got a regen totem right in the middle here. It's interesting placement. We saw yesterday with the Bed Wars, what we were getting a lot of the time was we were getting these regen totems placed out in the void over here, so they were harder to break. Because we see that one does get broken immediately. Takes some hits, kind of tanks, and then, that was basically the regen totem getting a kill right there. Now we do have a little bit of turn in the mid control, because our whole Krokante Mannen team right now is at their base, but there's also no one from Klabs on any gens right now. You have Trason over here who is pushing again, but no one actually getting geared up. From what I've seen, getting gear, getting armor, stuff like that isn't quite as important as it is in Egg Wars, because Egg Wars you outgear someone, with prot on overpowered mode, it's pretty much impossible to die. Here it is not like that, but still, obviously, better gear means you have a better chance to win, especially when the skill cap is as high as it is right now. Got 3 members from Klabs right here. Got FW over here is built in. Might be able to get the bed, and they do. Very, very solidly played. They're just going to see a bunch of TNT spam now. Try to get a cheesy kill, maybe. Yeah, I was going to say, Krokante Mannen had been putting on a really, really good defense, but it did not lie. See, Trason gets a couple really good crits there. That was a good combo, especially when you're fighting 3 or 4 people, but wasn't able to make anything from it. Or that was not FW. That was Ormate's going to try to jump in and get someone off the edge. Doesn't happen. Obviously, if you look at the gear, if you look at the player counts, Orange is outmatched here. But trying to do that, and they get one. They get Mark off the edge, just hitting with blocks. You guys don't play Java, you hit with blocks. If you do it well, you can get, if you do it with, your right sprint movements and things like that, you can get a lot of knockback because blocks you're able to hit faster with than swords. It's kind of some disrespectful combos when you get comboed off the edge with a block. Anyone who's played Java knows. And now what we're doing is we have Krokante Mannen sitting in their own base. They still significantly outgear the players who are above them. They outgear these 2 members of Klabs, but they're not pushing at all. And what's going to happen is you're going to have Klabs come back, and when this turns into a 3v4, it's going to be a little harder. That was very, very dangerous of Blue here to go off the edge like that at all. You see, it was, I suppose, a successful bait. They did get both kills there. Went off the edge. I'm not sure if they were trying to do something over here, or if it was just trying to bait someone jumping down on them. Looked like it was a bait, and it did work. Respect for that. FW makes it, but now they are all alone. Puts a blindness totem down. There is line of sight here for blindness, but obviously this is glass. So, my Bed Wars knowledge is not high enough to know if that actually works or not. I missed a kill. I do not know where these 2 are fighting, but we got another player from Krokante Mannen who goes down. Owned by Benny over here. Clutches on the side, but I was going to say maybe it won't last very long. They actually get the little bit of a combo going on FW, which is impressive for being so far down. But now it's a 4-on-1, as you see. Roan over here does go down. And even if they're able to get away right here, a 4v1 in a game mode like Egg Wars or Bed Wars, it's not really going to be possible. That is game 1 then. I don't think that was too bad. I think the PvP in general was pretty even. I don't have any problems with the play from either team. You had FW go in, get blocked in, and get the bed. You see the bed defense is pretty sparse, right? It's like a layer of wood and a layer of terracotta at the max. So if anyone's able to get blocked in on your bed, it's getting broken immediately. And that was the difference there. But I will say at the beginning, you had pretty good control of mid. You had pretty good map control in general from Krokante Mannen. I don't think it's impossible at all that they come back, win 1, maybe even 2. But I would say Klabs are the favorites, given that they won the whole first tournament and everything. I'm gonna just be hanging out for a minute now. Reminder that this is not a best of three, it's a group stage. We're doing a Swiss type of thing. So regardless what happened in the second game, we will stick around for a third one. Second map we're going to be playing on is Factory. Factory I don't believe is one I've spectated yet, so I'm not a super big Bedwars player. Seen a little bit of meta from the games I've spectated here, but that's also you guys will discover how this Factory map plays along with me. Private game is created. We are waiting on our gamers to join back in now. Gotta be on my pause screen, unfortunately, because otherwise, well, I leaked the private game code. Don't want to do that. Krokante Mannen is back in, so we are waiting on Klabs, who are in as well. Now we're going to go ahead in a minute, get this game started. Hanging out and just getting the ready from both teams here. Pull up our bracket from last time. Just go over a little context with these teams, right? So we had Klabs ran through the entire tournament, our Egg Wars tournament, never lost a single game. Very, very impressive from that. I don't even mean a match. I mean they 2-0'd every single team they played, aside from forfeits. And we had our other team, which are Krokante Mannen. They beat their first team, and they got beat by Crisis, who again went on to be the second team, second place. And we saw from that first game, Krokante Mannen are a very, very solid team, right? They can compete 100% with Klabs. Gonna have to see how well it pans out in game two, though. And here we go. Let me very quickly change my score. Fix that one up. It is 1-0 in favor of Klabs. And we are in game two on Factory. Same kind of thing, where we see Krokante Mannen in mid at the beginning of the game. Can have an early fight with these two. FW does have the gear advantage, similar sorts, but chain armor versus leather armor. A little bit of a silly fight there on the trampoline, but FW does take the win. Then we have Traceon immediately pushing over here. Member of Krokante Mannen has no armor, going to be difficult to defend, but they are all four at their base. Benny jumps in, does a little fake, gets Traceon off the edge and lives, so well played there. Do have a few players of Klabs in mid though, collecting up some gear. Pretty even so far, nothing crazy happening. You do see a pretty expansive defense there from Klabs. We got the wood, and then I would imagine terracotta under it. I won't expose. They got some crazy stuff going on. I'm not going to fly in and check out what it is, but I'd imagine pretty good. Waiting to see some action here. It's kind of just someone's collecting diamonds, they get pushed up, they run back, go back to base, and then we switch. So we've had like 2 or 3 of these kind of trade-offs with no actual fighting going on in mid. We have Traceon now is going to push in. Now I will say this looks like just terracotta. If there is no wood under this terracotta, which doesn't look like there is, then this is a very, very quick bed break. Terracotta clay does not take very long to break at all. So it's a dangerous defense we've got going on from Krokante Mannen, especially with someone leaving now. Obviously still 3v1. Another member of Klabs is coming up this bridge, though. Garone is trying to get Trace on off. Does not work. We see we got the regen hat up there. FW going to try to block in, maybe do a little fake, and then jump back. Now they're going to go back in. We see there's one block away from that bed getting broken. FW gets on the other side. Good defense there. Trace on goes down, so FW would really have to pull a miracle out to get the bed at that point, and they do not. I would say I really want to see some bigger defense from the side of Krokante Mannen on this. I think it's been a little too easy to get like one block away from breaking the bed there. You do have the issue where if you make your defense too big, it's easy to block in. But I really, really would like to see a little bit better of a defense. Like you saw last time, the game was pretty even, and FW just ended up getting in there one time. Took, you know, second and a half, maybe 2 seconds, and the game's over. I'm not the competitive player, though. I haven't been good at Java for probably 3 years now, so everyone in this game is much, much better than I am. FW is going to push in again. Fireball goes out, does not break enough. You see these are not super strong fireballs we got in Bedwars. They break just a few blocks. FW is evidently trying to go for a similar thing as last game where they get blocked in, they break it up, see if they're going to be able to do that, get a hit off, and they get blocked in. And they get the bed. Simple as that. Again, really well played to get the hit and then block. That's what happens. Just gonna push in now, it looks like. I don't know. I can't imagine they get a kill here against 4 people, and they don't. Trayson's coming in now. Just back, straight back up. Sees, especially Ice is cold over here with the iron armor, regen hat, and a diamond sword. Gonna be a difficult one to play against. Does get it off the edge. That was well played. You can hear with the blocks when you get those strong hits. They make a very nice, satisfying sound on Java. I guess, reigning tournament champions, in a game mode that's quite similar to Bedwars, obviously, are pretty darn close to taking the win in this first match here. Of course, we are playing the Swiss, so they will play the 3rd round no matter what, but you have effectively won your round if you get 2 points, if you win at least 2 out of the 3 matches. A lot of stuff going on here for Krokante Mannen. We got some minor fatigue, we got some regen, we got some, actually 2 regen. This map is not as conducive to the voided totems that we saw last time because this is blocked in a little more here. Got a member of Klabs jumping down, but they just kind of immediately jumped down to their death because they jumped into a 4v1. It's all that can be expected if you do that, no matter how good these players are. Everyone's good enough that a 2v1 is nearly impossible, honestly, if the gear is the same. You're very, very rarely ever going to win anything more than that. The goal, of course, is just to kind of pick off a kill, but when everyone has armor, when you got regen totems, you're not really picking off a kill with a sword. The only thing you're doing is maybe getting someone off the edge, but when we're all camped in this little castle, our little fortress we got going on here, it's not going to happen. Some interesting strategy going on as we have the top getting blocked off. So what it looks like is, we're preparing to have just a brawl in here. And Klabs is confident they'd be able to win that, although I wouldn't be confident right now with the totems and the just general gear difference that we're seeing. So I wonder if there's going to be some other strategy we see. The reasoning for whatever this, for this blockage here. I'm curious. Check out if there's anything going on the side of the Klabs for the other one. I don't imagine anything over there goes down too quick. We see, I don't know how to pronounce this name either, but they have gear. Over there got gear as well. I don't know what these W's in the middle of the names. Like, I don't know what vowel sound I'm supposed to substitute for the W there, so I can't really say those names. But they're geared up. That's what I will say. We do have 2 members of Krokante Mannen are breaking up now, so they get rid of this. They get a blindness totem down on the top, and they get rid of this little blockade here. Not even wanting to find out what Klabs have planned with that. Bunch of fireballs go down. Not enough knockback though. Really, if you're around here, you do not want to take a bridge fight very badly at all. Obviously, you're close enough to the base where you're going to get knocked off, you're going to hit back, but Troyson has shown they are very good with these blocks at just knocking people off. Another thing to consider here is that you have basically just Troyson, and you had one other player from Klabs here earlier. But up until recently, see, now they've finally kind of gotten away. But for a long time, it was just one or two players from Klabs who were taking up the entirety of the time for all four players of Krokante Mannen. And you have Trayson over here on this bridge holding the other two off, which means we only have two players of Krokante Mannen in mid here against three, about to be three, of Klabs. They did pretty well, got a bunch of hits off on one of the players, but they were able to escape here. Got totems going down all over the place. Trayson does back up, which means the remainder of Team Blue are going to be able to get to mid. I think they've been doing pretty well in this fight so far, it seems like. It's a 2v1 over here. Gapples happen. That was a whiff on the axe shot. Benny somewhere else does go down, and then you have Ice is Cold fighting for their life against three members over here. That's what happens when there's a 2v1. If you're 2v1ing in a situation where there are four members on both teams, someone on your team is getting 2v1 themselves. Roan goes down as well. Only a 4v2 now, so it would take some very impressive play from the remaining members of Krokante Mannen to pull this out. Now they do pearl, but then you see there are pearls from two members of Klabs as well. So that pearl ended up going nowhere. Would have been a really good play if no one else had a pearl. Maybe in a game mode where pearls were more expensive. You remember Edwards they used to be a stack. It was a lot more of a late game option, but not how it's going to work. Here we have our last member go down, and we are done with game 2. So another thing I'll say, where really PvP wise, general game sense wise, gameplay wise, both teams looking pretty even. But we had that bed break, that real nice knock off and just block in, get the bed from FW. That's all they needed. So it is going to be now 2-0. We only play 3 games, but it is a Swiss points matter, so we will play our third match as well. Gonna get into our third private game here. Last map is going to be Pyramid, which is a map we saw last time. You guys will see why it's called Pyramid once we get in. Be a real big shocker. Could never guess why. All 8 players have joined up real quickly. We'll wait for the okay from the captains and get this one going. Last Bedwars round we saw on Java was pretty similar to this one, where 2 of the rounds were dominated. Third round, the team that lost did manage to pull one out, which obviously in a Swiss could 100% matter. So we do want to see if Krokante Mannen are able to get something going in this last game here. Epic game is starting. Going to get into it momentarily. And we're here. Alright, we are on pyramid. As you can see, there's a big old pyramid in mid. No defense yet for Krokante Mannen. They are in mid. Game has just started, should be okay. Klabs are just getting to mid. Krokante Mannen's actually on their side. You see a really, really nice hit from blue over here. Trason does not go down. They are going to get to mid, but this bridge battle is won. Now, I would honestly be surprised if our player from blue here actually has a pickaxe. I wouldn't expect it. And they get knocked off. So we will never know. Have a push going on. Similarly, we have two players going towards the base of Krokante Mannen. Gonna back up a little bit. This is Cole just pulling up with the wood sword and no armor. That's not gonna go too well. Gets a little distraction, but there is just a straight up 2v2, now a 3v2 as Mark comes back at this base here. Really nice jump to get Trayson off there. It's gonna be a tough place to push. Widowmay has the low ground. A little easier on the hits. Just get straight back around the bridge. Gonna do some more being irritating. Does go down. Not in vain, because you had a 3v1. You had holding up a lot of members from Krokante Mannen over there, but doesn't get anything from it in terms of resources or kills. There goes down there. We have only a one wide bed defense right now for Klabs, so early bed break is totally possible to useful. I think we see sharpness on these swords already, which is good as well. Have glass going down. Glass useful because you can't break glass with a tool. It's always gonna be a delay no matter what kind of tool you have there. Wood going down as well, so now we are past the phase of the game where beds are going to be easily broken. Gonna have to have a break in, although I will say the same thing, which is we have, again, just clay on the bed for Krokante Mannen. Once you get a pickaxe, clay might as well not be there. Trayson's gonna do some vision. Solid fireball from back here to, take the legs out from under that bridge, just get a quick kill. FW building back up towards their own base. The minor fatigue totem, you see an interesting strategy here where they have encased their totem in glass. Totems work by line of sight. Obviously glass does not break line of sight, so it's going to be easier for this totem to stay alive. It's still going to do its job, but you'd have to break the glass to hit it. And totems work similarly to players, right? Yeah, they're entities. You have to hit them with the sword to kill them. And with only one block of glass, if you're trying to crit it, it's not totally trivial to even hit it at all. So that does help a lot. Kind of an analog to what we were seeing before with the floating totems. Mark gets a nice kill there. I was going to say taken out themselves, but they do survive, at least for the moment. TNT goes down. Similar to fireballs, TNT don't do too much, but Widowmay does get blocked in with wood, and that should be a bad. Nope, someone had an axe, got in quick. Although they get it replaced, axe again. That was very surprising that they were able to get 2 kills there in that wood. A lot of crits, that's what Java does. Almost gets Benny off the edge as well. Bed broken now. TNT, FW ends up directly on top of piece in TNT there. Widowmay's probably just going to go for a hit here, you see. That's 2, 3 crits. Isis Cold's going to be low. Not quite low enough, though. You have Trayson up here. Trying to block up the glass. Widowmay does go down. This is another curious strategy here. Something with totem line of sight, maybe. I don't know what the blockade on the glass is for, or just to be annoying. Always a valid choice. Blocking up the stairs again as well. That was a nice crit with that axe there. Trayson did not get that gap off, it didn't look like. A lot of just farming going on from Klabs as well there. All being friendly in this gen, just hanging out. Got some regen going on, having a good time. Maybe not such a good time because the bed is broken for the third game in a row. Klabs going for the clean sweep in the Swiss round. 3 rounds in a set is rare. CubeCraftly, you don't often get to win 3 games. Last tournament, the only time that was possible would have been the finals, which Klabs, of course, did do that, being our winners, although that game actually didn't properly happen. So I might have lied. They might not have done that. But in spirit, they did. Drop some resources off the edge before going in. See if we have an actual attack going on here, just some delays. Looks like we will have an attack because we have the rest of the members of Klabs coming in as well. Blindness totem down at the bottom. I'm a spectator, I can see the offer stand. It makes it look a little sillier. Kind of throwing some fireballs down. They're not actually aiming for players, they're looking to take out totems here. But if you look, I mean, that was 4 fireballs into 1 totem there, and it's still standing, so it's not a particularly easy thing to do. Weme is hiding the villager. Maybe not the most noble strategy, but if it works, it works. Klabs are going to be out totemed here. They're going to be beating a regen totem. I don't believe this regen totem actually exists. It looks like it was broken, or it's just me being in spectator mode. I can't see it properly. That was, yeah, so the name tags aren't disappearing, at least for me. But these 2 totems are broken, so it's pretty even up here. Do you have a 2v1 going on up there? I'm not sure why that player on Krokante Mannen was up there to begin with. It seems like you're going up to where Klabs is and you're letting yourself get off the edge. That might not have been the best move to do that. Mark goes down as well. In a 4v2 now. Little TNT cannon type behavior going on. Benny goes down. Well, FW is really trying to get this last kill with the TNT cannon, but I think Trayson's going to take it first. This is called as better gear. They probably would be able to win that 1v1, but it's no longer 1v1. Valiantly fought, but they go down, and we have a straight up 3-0 in our first game by our reigning champions. Couldn't expect anything less, I don't believe. Don't put me in a lobby. I don't want to play this. I do have to say, I would not, again, with Krokante Mannen, I think they've been a little bit unlucky with their placements in brackets. I think they've played some of the very best teams that Java has to offer in the first couple rounds of our last few tournaments. So totally respect to them. I think they, they put up a lot more of a fight than the 3-0 scoreline makes it seem. It was not just complete domination by any means, but at the end of the day, was a 3-0. Klabs have a performance to be proud of here. Last time I left early, this time actually all 3 games have happened. We have a bunch more games going on. This week we have some stuff going tomorrow. Got a Tuesday one tomorrow. We got, looks like, maybe 4 games tomorrow. That's a lot of games. Some stuff going through the rest of this week. A lot of Bedrock. I'm not sure if I see any more Java this week. There may be one in 2 days. But not too much. If you're a Java player, you tune in for this one. I encourage you to hop over to a Bedrock game as well. They look very different. Bedrock is playing Capture the Flag rather than Bedwars this time, but works, it works. That's all I'll say though. Hope you guys have a good rest of your morning, evening, night, whatever it ends up being. I will catch you guys